Hello, it is I, Emis, and it is currently December 30th, 2024. There's just the rest of the day and tomorrow, and then we're in 2025. And that's something to think about. So I wanted to do something a little different on this stream. So as you all know, I love My City Monsters. I've built this whole channel around it, even though there have been some non-MSM stuff, but hey, it's just what I want it to be, and that's fine. But either way, over the course of the whole year, I've been doing a little thing, just a little thing, just more or less. It originally started as a prediction for the year, and it eventually evolved into, I pretty much just updated it throughout the year and made now it's more or less a slideshow of more or less the history and evolution of the series in 2024, all the updates, all the monsters, etc. So, why don't we go ahead and get started, shall we? So this is the 2024 history of My City Monsters. So of course we start in January, where we continue off from the previous year's Festival of VA. If I recall correctly, that ended in January 7th, both the regular and junior. But nothing really happened in Festival of VA Junior after December, so it's not really mentioned here. So first thing that happened on January 1st, we got our first monster of the year, Adult Hornicle, the monthly Adult Celestial, this here being the water one. And that was the only monster for Festival of EA 2023. Like I said, it ended on the 7th, and our next monster came on the 10th. This one being Prismatic Pongping, one of the few prismatics that we had left for the year. I believe we only had 5 left, including this one. Unless you count all 6 as separate monsters. In that case, we had 30. Anyways, next up, on the 17th, the next week, we got our monthly fire variant, this one being Epic Wink, and a new set of, the beginning of a new set of Colosseum quests. These are the sort of colossal quests. There will be 5 quests based on the 5 natural colossals. A new kind of quest that restricts the monsters you can use throughout the entire thing. This one only allowing you to use the champions of Plant Island, as they're called: Potbelly, Punkleton, Entbrat, and Gast. And all, I believe, 10 of the level? No, 8. 8 of the levels carried you to use a specific combination of the 4. You couldn't use any of the 4. It had to be these specific 3 for each level. But anyways, next up, skipping all the way to the 30th, we got a sort of pre-seasonal update with the Dipsters on Magical Sanctum and Rare Fleetworm, completing the Dipster journey. As the previous year, the auxiliary seasonals Beat Hereafter, Clover Spell, Sky Painting, and Mind Boggle, the first ones, gave us the dipsters on those islands. The first Crescendo Moon did not, but it was pretty obvious that they were waiting for the other magical islands to get them before completing their journey on Magical Sanctum. And Rare Fleechworm was inspired by a seasonal that came right after, the next day on the 31st, Crescendo Moon 2024. Where this one sort of is the odd one out of all the auxiliary seasons. However, unlike all of them, this Crescendo Moon gave us 4 Crescendo Moon costumes with Mushaboom's gift box goodies, Zister's Koi with Me, Deja Jin's Lucky Mask, and Dragon's Terracotta Regalia. We got 4 Crescendo Moon decorations in the Magic Jade Lion, the Peony Wheel, the Floating Lanterns, and the Magic Envelope. And then this day also gave us Rare Knucklehead, our second Magical Sanctum Rare Magical. Well, I guess unless you count the singles. In this case, this would be our 5th. Because we still don't have a Rare Clacula at this point. Moving on to February. We still have Crescendo Moon 2024 going on, because it just started the previous day. You gave me? Starting on the 1st, gave us Adult Furnos. This one defined at least my expectations, and its inventory was based on Light Island. The previous ethereal, besides Ludwig, the previous ethereal Adult Celestials had their inventories based on a mixture of their young counterparts and one of the 4 magical islands. Except for Ludwig, who, since it was anniversary month, was more or less based on all 4. So it was a safe bet to assume that Syncopite and Vamp would be based on the 2 remaining magical islands. I believe it was Light Island and Bone Island. It's not written here. It's not listed here. Yeah. I was expecting Adult Furnos to be based on just the Fire Islands again. With now with Fire Oasis, now it would have Fire Oasis monsters, and maybe the triples on the magical islands too. But no, it was just the same thing and light monsters instead. But anyways, moving on to the 7th. We got Epic Carillon for Crescendo Moon, as well as some Season of Love costumes. More specifically, Candy Smorgasbord for Bisonoris, Dongle the Thing for Epic Scups, Careless Kit for Socks, Prom King for Pango, and Shape of You for Scups. Now this, just like Crescendo Moon before, was a bit of a pre-season update for Season of Love. Because on the same day, over on Dawn of Fire, we got Season of Love Junior 2024. Excuse me. What it gave us Season of Love decorations in the Airlands, specifically the Obstacles and the Skyship, and 11 Season of Love Junior costumes for Mammoth, Maw, Cybop, Glal, Pom Pom, Reedling, Repetillo, Snizer, Riff, Tring, and Bisonoris. And of course, the main monster of the season, Young Schmoochel on the continent. This is kind of where seasonals start to sound bad. But anyways, the next week, we got our Season of Love Senior update, as I like to call it, for 2024. Where it gave us our Fire variant, Epic Woolabee, Epic Socks and Rare Bookworm, the last rare seasonal, and the only one for this year, as Rare Whizbang had come out for Festival of Yay 2023, but back in December. But on top of that, we also got Ethereal Workshop Wave 3, giving us Piplash and Vention. Our triple and our Mech Quad, respectively. And then finally, on the 28th, 2 weeks after that, we got Rare Screamoo, our monthly Rare Wublin. So, heading over to March. As per usual, on the 1st, we got Adult Glacier, the cold celestial. And then, less than a week later, on the 6th, we got Thumpy Palooza with the release of the Thumpies remake. And I'm now realizing a bit to be centered. There we go. We got 7 Thumpies costumes. 1 can be obtained for downloading the game, while the rest are seasonal costumes, more or less out of season. Fruit and butter you could get by linking your data with the Thumpies game. And then Chomp and Mosh, Cal and Gooey, Squee and Chesh, Flippy and Tawoo, Boo and Yuckles, and Mace and Cartoof were for the three Thumpies. If I recall correctly, I believe these are only for the core seasons, but Boo and Yuckles were, I believe, Extravaganza. Flippy and Tawoo were Season of Love. I believe we already got a costume similar to this for common Thumpies, but I don't actually remember. But regardless, we also got, for completing the Thumpies game, we would also get the Great Tree Bonsai decoration. I'll just celebrate Thumpy Palooza. And then the next week, on the 13th, we got Clover Spell 2024. We got, unlike Christian Moon, this season did follow the rest of the auxiliary seasons for this year. And by this year, I don't mean 2024, I mean anniversary month 2023 to anniversary month 2024. But regardless, on this day we got Epic Fiddle, Rare Tuskski, our fire variant, Rare Bonkers, 4 Clover Spell costumes, Buckle Caps for Cantarell, Loco the Fierish for Pong Ping. I probably butchered that, and I apologize. The Jig is Up for Whimsies, and Chawn Job for Furcorn. Again, probably butchered. I can only apologize for that. And then for our decorations, we got Clover Contraption, the Green Cupcakes, a pot of enchanted coins, and a giant metal shoe. Beautiful. And then over to the 26th, we got another sort of pre-seasonal update with a brand new island, Magical Nexus, housing all of the hybrid magicals, those being the ones with magical and natural elements, along with the singles. You feed them up to level 18, and then transpose them, aka teleport them, to the island. And then, along with that, we also got our Rare Wublin, Rare Dermot. And again, I say this is a pre-seasonal update because the next day, we got Extravaganza 2024. It was just simply 5 costumes. Little Cosmic Egg for Anglo, Bunny Slippers for Fwog, Pollinator Poise for Araculele, Major Egghead for Epic Dandydoo, and Sumpter Net for Fangler. But on the same day, we got Extravaganza Junior 2024. with 12 Extravaganza Junior costumes for Noggin, Quibble, Boscus, Sponge, Congo, Ruditud, T-Rex, Shellbeat, Flummox, Krillby, Edamame, and Dromedary respectively. We got Extravaganza decorations in the Waterlands. We got Young and Adult Bowhead and Young Blabbit, with Adult Bowhead coming to Space Island. Then moving on to April, I believe the next week after Extravaganza. Yeah. Extravaganza is still being celebrated. But before we can get to the next week, on the 1st, we got Adult Blossom, our Adult Celestial. Then, over on the 10th, okay, so not next week, my mistake, we got our sort of main update for Extravaganza, with Epic Jailbilly, Epic Barb, Epic Flower, and Frigel's Feet, their second Colossal Coliseum quest. This time for Cold Island, with the viable monsters being Mammoth, Deej, Yule, and Grumpire. It's kind of surprising that we got 2 fire variants for this month. It sort of breaks tradition. Every month after Amber Island was finished, we have a quintessence sale where we'd have 5 monsters available for the month. Those would be the Quint and Quad, a double, a triple, a quad, and a quint, with the quad and quint usually being monsters available in the fire expansion. We would later learn that whenever Tring and Snizer are the quads, then another monster would take their place as the expansion monster. And one of the monsters for the quintessence would be the monster to get their variant, either their epic or rare, depending on if they're expansion monster or not. But this time we got 2 instead of just 1. Both Flower and Barb were available at that quintessence. So I guess they just decided to give us 2 instead of 1. Either way, neat. And then the next week, we celebrated Echoes of Eco 2024 with our 4 costumes: Hallaberry Heat for Kana, Fruit Salad Style for Edamame, Bovine Unicorn for Flummox, and the Teddyberry Trim for Gnarls. And then for our decorations, we've got the Plentiful Planter, the Quaint Outhouse, the Grapefruit Tree, and the Golden Simian. And I'm now realizing the decorations and costumes are flipped, as you can see at the bottom there. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but if we look below the costumes and decorations, they're labeled incorrectly. Anyways, we also got Rare Pluckbill and Epic Vivane for the season. And on top of all that, we also got our next Ethereal Workshop wave with a synthesizer upgrade and castle upgrades for Ethereal Workshop and Amber Island. It was about time, because now with that upgrade I could finally have every monster. But with the Workshop upgrade, we also got Exert and Pentumbra, the penultimate triple, and the penultimate quad. But anyways, moving on to May, as that was the last update for April. Because Eco has ended, or maybe not. Okay, never mind. My mistake. I'm dumb. As we're on the 1st for our last update for Echoes of Eco, we got both Adult Syncopite and Rare Mulch. As you may have noticed, we didn't get a Rare Wublin for April, so I got one for the beginning of May. But anyways, over on the 15th, we got our Purple Explorer update for 2024. This included our public store decorations with the hat rack, campfire, the expedition tent, and the armillary sphere. I don't know how you pronounce that. And our costumes with the portable map top for Ma, cartographer Cud for Woolaby, observatory bum for Snizer, and the shape of for shoot. I'm not very good with names, and sometimes they lose me. Cherubble, shape of for Cherubble. Along with that, the new monsters, we got Wubbox and Fire Oasis. It was inevitable. It's not that good. It's fine on its own, but it does not fit with the song. I'm not sure what they could have done to make it fit. Every other island would have probably worked fine with Wubbox had it been just different. Sounded different. But this Wubbox is pretty much just conflicted with the overall vibe of the island and the song. Just outright. So I don't know what they could have done for Wubbox. But on the other side of the spectrum, we got Epic Fangler, our fire variant. We got Epic Spirit for the season. And we got Mimic on Fire Oasis, who, as I mentioned before, would be our expansion stand-in for Tring and Snizer. We all knew this was coming when we got Fire Expansion back in November 2023. But on top of all that, we got the long-awaited new map. The updated map. That would show a full-on map of the entire monster world, with a little sidebar for all the islands, or little icons on the actual map where all the islands would be, with a little button that lets you switch between the mirror dimension and the prime reality. It was neat, though the order of islands was a bit questionable, but it wasn't the biggest deal. But moving on after that, on the 29th, we got the beginning of the month of the Mythical 3. Probably a ginormous month, a ginormous event for this year. The only thing that would probably be bigger than this would be Anniversary Month coming up, where every week we got several new monsters, along with 2 seasons on top of that. But to start us off, we got Rare Zuker, our penultimate rare Wublin, and an upgrade to the Mythical Island Castle with the Humatite Castle, now allowing us to house more rare mythicals. But before we can talk about that, of course, in June, we got the entirety of the month of the mythical. But on the 1st, we got Adult Vamp, who has mostly an easier, pretty much just an easier inventory than its younger counterpart. The only difference being it needed Munculus and a mythical, since mythicals are available all year round, unlike rares. This was nowhere near as difficult. Plus, with 5, 10, 11, 12 islands where you could zap a mythical. Those being the 5 natural islands, the Mirror Islands, and the Fire Islands. Unlike the rare magicals, which usually had only 1 or 2 islands that housed them. But moving on the 5th, our first Wednesday of the month of the mythical, we got Life Formula 2024, with each week giving us a new mythical along with other monsters. But before that, we have 4 Life Formula decorations with the Verse Gazing Telescope, the Blueprint Workshop, the Teleportal, and the Graven Gazed. And our costumes with Kinda Sketchy for Gazed, Crystallium Coacher for Geode, Bellow Blairet Belly for Bellowfish, and Speaking in Tongues for Rare Voodoo. And then we got Zephyr Zenith, the Coliseum Quest, the Colossal Quest for Air Island, with the options being Tweedle, Riff, Smoochel, and Rebro. And then we got Rare Cherubble, our weekly rare mythical, Epic Monculus for Life Formula, and Epic Souza, but only on Air Island. It was on the 29th, the update, we got Rare Zuker and the Amantite Castle. We got our trailer for the month of the mythical, showing us everything that would come for the week. Well, except for 1 week. But still, we were shown all the monsters that would come for the next 3 weeks. However, Epic Souza was shown to release the next week after the 5th. So it coming to Amber Island was a bit surprising, as all the monsters that would come on the 12th were added to the Book of Monsters and implemented into the game. Just hadn't been made available yet. So it'll come now with Epic Nebula, Rare Hehehe, and Epic Souza on Light Island. Then, the next week, on the 18th, we'd get... Actually, this wasn't the next week, this was the day before the next week. With Ethereal Workshop Wave 5, with our final triple Teeter-Totter, and our penultimate quad with the Rismith, along with upgrades to the Synthesizer and the Nexus Nucleus. Now more or less giving us visual indicators for our collection, as well as a Composer app update and Gazed on Composer Island for purchase, as a little reward for purchasing the Composer app. However, just like Epic Souza, we also got another monster added early with Rare Pixelotl, the final Rare Wublin, being added a day early than expected. This was sort of preparation for the next day, which gave us a little more with Rare Anglo, our final rare magical single, Rare Clacula, giving us more rewards to come to the Nexus Nucleus, as well as the publication of the official MSM Discord server, where you could do plentiful things, like talk to the devs and just talk all in all about My City Monsters. But anyways, this was all that was shown off on that beginning trailer. All the new monsters besides the workshop update were all the monsters that were shown off. So now the next week was a little bit of a surprise, but an expected one though. It's on the 26th, we got Sky Painting 2024. With our costumes, Pride and Proud Fits for Floris, Prismatica Ball for Spytrap, Short Fused for Bloat, and Flash Prance for Tiawa. And then our decorations includes Fireworks Stand, Kaleidoscope, Prism Gate Replica, and the Globy Guys. And then for our new monsters, we got Rare Bazinga, the final rare mythical, and Epic Repetillo, our fire variant. Although only on Amber Island, just like before, just like Epic Souza. Then, in July, still continuing Sky Painting, On the first, we got our final adult Celestial, adult Galvana, whose inventory was pretty similar to 4. I'm gonna have to let me real quick look up what the inventory was, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. No, it was... I see. It was all the triples and quads. All the natural triples and quads. And that's it. Aside from the fire triples on the magical islands. As well as one hula, as per usual, as seasonal. And then one natural quad, rare quad for the 5 natural elements. It was definitely different, but not too different from what was to be expected. Nothing too unusual. Then 2 days later, over on the 3rd, we got Epic Whiz Bang, or Epic Seasonal. Then on the 10th, we got Epic Repetillo on Firehaven, as this was the proper release for it. And then about here is when Sky Painting ended and Summer Song began. With our... just like the other core seasons, no new decorations, but we got 4 new costumes with Grill Monster for Dandy-Doo, Secondhand Sunnies for Flowa, Snicker Snorkel with Yehehe, and DIY Zerd with Epic Clamble. Then we also got Hydrid's Hurdle Coliseum Quest, the penultimate Coliseum Quest, and the penultimate Colossal Coliseum Quest for Water Island with Toejammer, Shelby, Blabbit, and Geode. And then we also got Epic Kazillion, a very out of this world looking epic ethereal, to say the least. And then our seemingly final workshop wave had come early on the 17th with the synthesizer and castle upgrades and our final quad, Oogity. And then on the same day, we also got Summer Song Junior with Summer Song decorations on the Earthlands with the obstacles, 12 Summer Song Junior costumes with Tweedle, Fwog, Dandy-Doo, Pango, Flowa, Corster, Pong Ping, Barb, Pummel, Clamble, Tiawa, and Tuskski getting costumes. And speaking of Tuskski, we also got Prismatic Tuskski. And our final natural monsters on the continent with young and adult Nyarls coming to the continent and Cave Island, as well as our current final seasonal with the young Hula. Along with that, we also got the natural essence available, obtainable through the Wonder Mine. It's still unknown what their purpose is or will be or was, but they haven't been removed from the game. If you got them during the season Summer Song Junior update, then you still have them. Pretty much putting in any monster would pretty much guarantee you the essence. And then after that, we had, over on the 31st, we had the Fire Festival, which wasn't really much. It was sort of just a little live show of songs while monsters partied. Just sort of a live stream of a concert, of the Summer Song concert, with the only real reward new thing to come would be a new costume for Mimic, the Festival Goer. Just one last Summer Song costume before we move on to August. where our first update came on the 7th. Yep, no adult Celestials. We're done with those. And no Elder Celestials either. We still have yet to get those. I'll tell you when I think we'll be getting those. But not right now, because on the 7th, we got our Mind Boggle update. With 4 Mind Boggle decorations. The Confounding Cryptex, the Brain Teaser Tome, the Floating Library, and the Bibliothek. I don't know how you pronounce that. And then the Mind Boggle costumes, hardcover hits for Bonkers, Rainbow Shark for Pummel, Other Monster for Periscorp, and Tail of a Whale for Bowhead. Speaking of Bowhead, we also got Rare Bowhead and Rare Catalyst on the 7th. But those weren't the only monsters we got. So on the 14th, the next week, we also got Rare Gloptic, our first and currently only Rare Magical Quad. And our final Epic Seasonal, and maybe our final Seasonal overall, Epic Bookworm. Now with Epic Bookworm, we have all the seasonal monsters we currently know of that could exist without the addition of something entirely new. Without the addition of an entirely new season or an entirely new variant class that come to seasonals, we might be done with seasonal content, at least for the main game. We still have some junior seasonal stuff to do in 2025. But in the meantime, moving on to the 28th, we have the beginning of Anniversary Month. As per year, this is the biggest event of the year. Now, it's sort of what we consider the end of this year for My Singing Monsters, while the next year begins. Starting off, we had Player Parts 2024, which revealed to us one of the upcoming monsters for the update for what would come next week, whereas the following Saturday would reveal to us the rest that would come on September 4th, 2024. The anniversary update, which gave us a whole lot. Starting off on the main game, we got our 12th anniversary monument, which labeled the events and the updates that came throughout the year. Starting with release of Ethereal Workshop, double Ethereals coming to Colosseum, wildcards being implemented, Fire expansion, our colossal quests on the Colosseum, Magical Nexus, Thumpy Palooza, the map update, the Nexus Nucleus update, and of course the map update as well. And with the middle centerpiece being the end of our main Ethereal Workshop waves, with the addition of a synthesizer update and Bemebeth, the Ethereal Quint. But that's not all we got on this day. We also got Rare Wubbox on Wublin Island. This one needing, I believe, if I recall correctly, only around half of the needed Wublins. I think 10. Was it 5 or 10? I can't remember. But either way, it needed only about half. Yeah, no, it was about 10. Only about half of the rare Wublins needed or available. Then moving on to the Colosseum, we have our final Colossal Quest and our final Colosseum quest in general, Solemn Stratagem, with the monsters needed for being Noggin, Chorister, Humbug, and Hula. But with that, we also got 5 more Colosseum songs, those being remixes of the natural islands. And the Conservatory Column cast 1 through 4 being the little columns we saw back when the Colosseum first came out, those being the lore and the tale of the two colossal spirits that would inhabit Tribal Island and the Colosseum, or also give us their names. Well, back on the topic of the natural islands, we also got rearrangements of the Mirror Islands, giving us new songs for the Mirror Islands, giving us more of a reason to have them. And then, along with that, we also got little facelifts for the shop and the Book of Monsters. We also got a Void Corn costume available when purchasing packs. And then we also got the Path Painting update, allowing you to enter a submenu when selecting a path, and allowing you to easily paint any path you want onto the island, including for every island that already had paths. They'd have 2 new paths for every single one. The Trip Plank path and the Tree Cookie path for Plant Island, Footprint and Ice Crackle paths for Cold Island, Bagpipe and Steam Spring for Air Island, Pearlescence and Jelly Squash paths for Water Island, Rock Melt and Great's Mind path for Earth Island. They're a bit hard to read in this small. The Fire Fissure and the Magbrol path for Fire Haven, the Platform and Fritform paths for Fire Oasis, the Ghost Forest and Duskala path for Light Island, Side Swirler and Telepathic paths for Psychic Island, the Facade and Fairy Ring paths for Fairy Island, the Classic Rock and Mosung Irie path for Bowen Island. Again, it is really hard to read. The Diagram path and the Wire Cross paths for Sugarbush Island, Seasonal Sigil and Wood Gouge path for Seasonal Shanty, the Repmub path and the Red Keeps path for Mythical Island, the Purple Modular path and the Porthole path for Ethereal Island, the Reticulated and the Bubble Vessel path for Ethereal Workshop, the Carnecla path and the Tesla Rug path for Magical Sanctum, and the Calancard path and Greenberry path for Amber Island. And then lastly, for the main game, we got the first Epic Mythicals with Epic Jube and Epic Yostrich. That's not the only mythical thing we got this day, as we also got an update. We also got Young Mythicals on the continent with Young Gajube and Young Yostrich, along with a castle upgrade, a long-awaited castle upgrade. And that's not all we got for Anniversary Month. It's on the 11th. We also got Prismatic Bowhead. And then on the 18th, we got some more Playground costumes, with one for each of the playable monsters. The Playground Panda, the Playground Roseate, the Playground Toucan, Playground Porridge, Playground Candy Cane, Playground Snow Crab, and Playground Peony. And then, last update for September, we got Prismatic Gnarls on the 25th, our penultimate Prismatic. As all that was left was a fan favorite monster. But we'd have to wait until the future for that. So we move on to October, where we have our final anniversary update, as well as the beginning of the next year for My City Monsters. As on the 9th, we got a little update for Mirror Air Island. We got a slight little update for the map, as now you can change the order of the islands you want, as well as new unique obstacles for the Titan skins and the natural mirror islands, as well as 4 new islands: the Mirror Magical Islands, Mirror Light Island, Mirror Psychic Island, Mirror Fairy Island, and Mirror Bone Island. Instead of being infused with the ethereal element and remnants of the Dawn of Fire of the continent, the Mirror Magical Islands are now infused with remnants of the Outer Islands, with whichever islands they took the place of from the Dawn of Fire, as well as a new class of monsters, the Titan Souls, with our first one being the Phosphorin Flux, being on Light and Mirror Light Island, with them being a sort of mixture of Woboks and the Colossal Conundrum, as well as Epic Woboks, with them being embodiments of the Titan's souls, and you needing other monsters to collaborate and power it up and awaken the Titan. Then, on the 16th, we got our Spooktacle 2024 update, with Rare Gnarls, Rare Bleaknik, our first ever Rare Dream Mythical, and a few more Spooktacle costumes, with a few Legacy costumes coming back, and a few new ones, with Shrubbles the Clown for Shrub, Lichen Likeness for Drumpler, Working in the Lab for Clamble, Bozo the Clown for Bogart, Call of Cthulhu for Shellbeat, Suspicious for Gazd, Zombie for Epic Entbrat, Mean Green for Potbelly, and See No Bite for Epic Fwog. Also on the 16th, we had our second Spooktacle Junior update, with the brand new Costume Trunk, where you could craft spooky costumes that you could give to your monsters to have them equipped at any time, as they no longer wore them at the seasons. But in order to craft them, as well as the brand new Spooktacle Junior costumes, those being the Pumpkin Carving Station, the Ghoulish Coffin, and the Vampiric Inflatable, over at the workshop, I believe that's what it's called, you got Seasonal Cheer, which you can only obtain by sending seasonal monsters over to the Wonder Mine. There you have a chance of getting the seasonal cheer. For Spooktacle Junior, sending in any non-Punkleton seasonals will only give you a chance to obtain the Spooktacle seasonal cheer, those being the candy corns, whereas Punkleton will give you a 100% chance, as well as all 5 of them having a percentage chance of giving you the other seasonal cheer. Though I think this feature was removed, though you still kept the cheer in a later update. Then on the 30th, we got Spooktacle ended and Beat Hereafter began, with 4 new costumes being Charming Chero for Clacula, the Calica Coiffure for Fwog, the Calaverita Cutie for Pechidna, and Amiable Arabrihe for Incisor. I may have butchered that, but I am sorry. Also, I am now reading the chat. No, you will not be coming back, Fwig. Fuck you. As for our new monsters, we got Rare Ostax and Epic Areculale, an unexpected rare pure magical rare. Double. Rare Zeester and Rare Knucklehead, the ones that came before, had only been introduced in Crescendo Moon updates, but this was a pleasant surprise to get one outside of Crescendo Moon. And anyways, moving on to November. On the 6th, we had our second Be Hereafter update with Rare Uduk, the last rare bone triple on Bone Island. And then moving on to the 13th, we got our Feastember update 2024 with Rare Fiddlement, Epic Flugel, and only 2 Feastember costumes. The Orn of Plenty for Bazinga and Gobbly Idolator for Candelabra. And also on the 13th, we got Young Bazinga, but no Feastember Jr. Honestly, I was kind of thinking that we would get Feastember Jr. Oh well. Moving on to the 20th, we got Rare Clavingnat, as featured in the trailer. And then on the 27th, the next week, we got part 2 of Feastember with 3 Wubboxes. Rare Wubbox on Fire Oasis. I should change that to say Fire Oasis, not Wublin Island. And then Epic Wubbox on Fire Haven and Fire Oasis. Now with Epic Flugel, we now have every non-expansion epic. So now we have Epic Wubbox on both Fire Islands. And as well as them, we also got Epic Bazinga and Rare Nerve. Which means on top of the Wubboxes, on top of the Rare Magicals and Epic, we also got all 3 mythical related monsters that were affiliated with Feastember. So that was quite a surprise. I only thought we'd only get 1 of them. Only get 1 Wubbox and only 1 Rare Magical. So that was quite the surprise, indeed. So then moving on to December, we have over on the 11th, we got our Festival of Yay update with another brand new class. This one being the Paranormal Monsters, essentially magical ethereals, as they're bred in the same way with the quad and any of the triples. And then with the trailer mostly being focused on the new class, with everything else only sort of being reminisced on the side, we were shown a workshop castle upgrade sort of out of the blue, as nothing new came to Ethereal Workshop other than a teaser of something coming. But in that trailer, we got an inside look of the castle with paintings showing us the upcoming monsters. 2 of them coming today. Those being Epic Strombonin and Rare Dromedary. The previous Festival of Yay Quintessence simply gave us all of the vessels available. So we all assumed that this would be the same thing and no new variant, but no. We finished the Rare Fire Monsters with Rare Dromedary. And now all that's left besides Rare Mimic are the Epic expansion monsters. Next month, we will know how the Epic Fire expansion monsters will work. Will we buy them with diamonds, some other currency? Will we breed them like every other monster? Who knows? Only time will tell. But meanwhile, we also have some more Festival of Yay costumes, 9 to be exact. We got Frosty the Toemon for Toe Jammer, Turtle Doves for Quibble, Gone Commercialism for Octopus, Wreck the Halls for Ma, Marion Bright for Bulbo, Rockin' Around the Yay Tree for Riff, Arctic Harmonica for Geode, Shake and Flake for Nebulob, and Cramp My Style for Rare Mammoth. So speaking of Bulbo. Oh, actually, maybe not. Not yet. Also, on the 11th, we got our Festival of Yay Junior update with our festive costumes, as well as 2 new Festival of Yay Junior costumes for Gnarls and Deej, now giving us a role for the Quad and Quint festive costumes. We also got 3 Festival of Yay Junior costumes with the Lights and Display contest, the Snowy Skier, and the Pile o' Pretzels, along with our final Prismatic Mimic. We've got no confirmation of if there will ever be any more prismatic monsters. In fact, it's been implied that there will be no more prismatic monsters, besides maybe a theoretical hex natural. But we have yet to have any confirmation about that. But that's not all. As on the 18th, as well as our final update of the year, we got Rare Crunchy and Rare Bulbo. And that's it for My City Monsters 2024. We're now up to date with everything. We still have yet to get a young Strombonen, but Festival of Yay will keep going throughout a bit of January, so perhaps we'll get it then. So what's left for 2025 and onward? Well, we've been implied that we've got Mimic on more islands, like perhaps maybe Gold Island or maybe Tribal Island. Who knows? But one thing's for sure. We know that Mimic will be hatched on another island. We don't know where, and we don't know when, but somewhere we'll have Mimic. As well as Mimic variants. If the only other island Mimic hatches on is Gold Island, then I guess the Mimic variants won't follow. But either way, we'll have them on Fire Oasis with Rare and Epic Mimic. And speaking of epics, we also have 13 Fire Epics, the last natural monsters we have left before they're done. Based on the quintessence, assuming we only get 1 for every quintessence and we get none for the quintessences that have all of the monsters, then we'll still have some left to get in 2026. And we'll also have 19 rare magicals, including Magical Sanctum ones. We also have 34 ethereal variants. That is assuming that ethereal workshop monsters will get variants. So that means 16 rare workshop monsters, 16 epic workshop monsters, and then 2 more ethereal island epics with Epic Fungprey and Epic Dragong having yet to arrive. Based on the castle upgrade that came with the paranormal update, it is certainly implied that something is happening for Ethereal Workshop. And then we need 4 more rare Dream Mythicals for Sporo, Pinghound, Schlep, and Weasel. Then we need Epic Wubbox on more islands. It's unknown if it'll come to Woodland Island, but it's for sure coming to Ethereal Island. Then we have 12 Elder Celestials, which I predict we'll be getting in August of 2025, the year after the Elder Celestials end. Then we have 43 Epic Magicals. The Nexus Nucleus implies that we'll be getting epics sometime, and what other epics would we get other than the Epic Magicals? We've got 11 Epic Mythicals, including Dream Mythicals and Catalyst. We've got more Colossi. I've got no reason not to believe that Colossi will be coming in some way to the Fire Islands and Ethereal Island. The other islands, I'm not so sure. We've got more Titan Souls for Fairy Island, Psychic Island, and Bone Island. We've got more Paranormals, so the major and minor forms for Light Island, Bone Island, and Fairy Island. Now I've got no reason not to believe we'll be getting paranormal variants and a paranormal island. We'll be getting some kind of paranormal variants or hybrids. Then we've got more mirror islands with the map music, the pricing of the mirror islands implies that Fire Haven and Fire Oasis will get some kind of mirror island, or there'll be some kind of mirror fire island. And then to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if we'll get this, but I do believe that we will get one more young seasonal, as well as adult forms for the seasonals. We also have 4 more young mythicals with Strombonen, Anglo, and Cherubble. And then the adult forms of the 7 mythicals. We have the rest of the Dawn of Fire craftable seasonal costumes and craftable seasonal costumes. And then we've got more main game costumes, but who really cares? And then something coming relating to Ethereal Workshop, whether it's monsters. Oh wait, I should probably move myself. Whoops. Here we go. Just something coming to relating to the Ethereal Workshop, whether it's the monsters or the island itself. We're not sure, but also has some kind of role outside of it, due to our first tease of it being in Mirror Plant Island with that background. And that's it. That is the history of Mycenaean Monsters for 2025. It's been a pretty wild journey, to be honest. But give me one moment. How long have I been streaming for? About an hour. I'm also kind of tired and hungry. I could use some lunch. Use some lunch. So I will go ahead and end it here. Oops. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all in probably a future stream where I will probably make a prediction of the future of Mycenaean Monsters. Make a more thorough prediction of 2025. Whether I'll do it tomorrow or maybe sometime in January. Who knows? But either way, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.